Yeah, Stanley. So I have to say, I have to do the secret. I have to. Unless there's a what? No. Where the frickin'? Wait. Oh, I forgot this one. No.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel
I feel like I'm about to get jump
every
scared.
time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling.
I just feel that.
And the emptiness in my chest
It's a weird feeling,
when I set it down.
I feel like that's gonna happen.
It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it.
Okay.
I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure?
What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize.
I can monetize it.
Yes.
It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back.
Oh no, there it is.
Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
Whoa. I'm getting goosebumps, bro. Yeah. That was... special.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Wait.
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket. Stanley took the bucket with him into this little hallway and closed the doors. This was their hideout. Ah, no, apparently not. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
I'm
telling him
speedrunning
that
this.
the
I'm
employee
speedrunning
lounge
it.
was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
I haven't gone
Stanley
some
took
places
the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Very tempting. It's very tempting to go for that.
In here,
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone,
said the bucket. Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke.
Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke?
Womp womp.
Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look. No.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is
no.
Yes.
No.
Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body.
It's not matter that much.
These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. That's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
No, why did one of those aliens have a leg?
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the 2 doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Okay, so we're going back to the 2 doors. What's up here? Okay, you can't go up there.
I can feel it. This time,
Wait.
I'm really going to nail the delivery.
You can't let me down.
Stitches. A talking bucket,
No.
you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy.
You can't do
That's
this
what
to me.
you'll call me.
You can't-
Thank goodness
you
we
can't
had
do
the
this to me.
instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now.
You can't do this to me. You can't
Well, I
lock
wouldn't
me
be the
on
king
this.
of comedy, that's for sure.
No.
The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke.
You took away.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly.
You took
No need
away
to overthink
everything. I
things.
hate you. I hate you. No. You put this upon yourself. I'm not leaving. I'll wait here all the time you want. You know what? While I do that. Oh. It isn't it. Okay. Fine. I'm leaving. Are doors that usually don't open? Are they open?
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Wait. No. I swear, if he takes my bucket, I'm killing him.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off.
Unplug.
The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again.
No.
Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
No.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
How many times do I have to walk through this?
What? We're back at the phone already? No.
You're not getting me to go the right way.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
How many times do I have to do this until you crash out?
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers.
Yes,
I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. Okay. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Paul.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No.
That's a terrible joke.
Away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this.
Based on the work of Stanley Parable in 2013.
I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of...
How did I find out?
More instructional
I think Sean
videos.
ran into this too, but I don't think he ran into it the same way I did.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
I'm clicking on every single picture.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Wait. Wait. Why is everything? Trust the... How can you tell you spot... Really or heard of mine? Follow clues provided by the employee 416. We can do that. Why is everything... There will be a reward for finding them all. Mission status. I know.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
Wait.
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps.
Wait, no.
How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course,
where's my bucket? Where's my bucket?
And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Where's my bucket?
Oh, gracious.
Where's my bucket?
He exclaimed. Without
Where's
my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
Where's my
Where
bucket?
is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Bucket.
Could it
Bucket.
truly be?
Where are you?
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
Bucket.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Oh. You're scratching my head because I don't know what just happened.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
She better not have a bucket. If she has a bucket, I'm crashing
Mariella
out.
woke up on a day like any other. She arose, dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Are you kidding me?
But on this particular
She has a
day,
bucket
her walk
too?
was interrupted
She has a
by
bucket
the body
too?
of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming
No.
to himself,
Why?
and then collapsed dead
No.
on the sidewalk.
Why?
Right away,
No.
she knew what the problem
No
was.
need for a bucket.
This man
No
had
need
no bucket.
for bucket.
Of course.
No
he was
need.
mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an
And tape
illusion
up
and it's
Mario
all just a
to
video
my
game.
mic.
It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter.
This is insane.
But of course, she had no time for this.
Why?
There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work,
Kidding.
for which her bucket would provide
just
absolute
kidding.
guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
What? Okay. Wow. The end is never the end is never the end. The end is never the end.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it... Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a
Already got
door
the trophy.
5 times? The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I want to go somewhere. I took the wrong way. Didn't I? Yes, I've already seen that, but... Oh, I'm stuck. Wait, I'm stuck. Come on. Somewhere rainbow. Alright, I know where I need to go now. Hopefully I didn't take the area.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines. And now I'm torn between Stanlerines and figures. What do you think, Stanley?
What?
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from
better
seeing a
not
small
name
number
them
in the corner of your
figurines.
screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. Okay. No. Wait. Hello? Are you... Okay. It's all not life for us. It's all not life for us. Nothing.
Stepping in.
Psych. That's the wrong number. I better go back to the 2 doors and take one more. You better let me go take one more. No. Why are you taking me all the way back? Wait. What? The end is never the end is never the wait. You are now leaving. No. I don't know. Not this one. I'm falling off. Look at that. No, wait, is that... Where's... Oh my gosh. Why? I'm gonna walk all the way up here. If I look up, look how high we have to go. Oh, it's just one more set. But I don't want to go up one more set. What if I wanted to stop here? What if I wanted to? I have to go up even more. This is absurd. I can't see anything. Escape. Is this gonna be forever? Oh. Oh. No. 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 Wait, why do I have female hands, brother? Brethren, why are your hand nails pink? No. I'm tempted. I'm real tempted. What if I take subtitles off? I'm kidding. I wouldn't do it. Okay. Okay. Where are you?
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Bucket! finding where they put bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
Bucket.
left.
Bucket. Bucket. Where the bucket? Bucket. Bucket.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into it.
Bring me back to bucket. Bring me back to bucket. Bring me back to bucket. Take me to bucket. Now. I demand. Bucket's not here. I'm about to kill whoever took bucket. Bucket?
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. And if it did,
Bucket!
it stopped shortly
Bucket!
after.
Bucket!
Stanley hoped that he would one day see... And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Thank you. Normally, you know, I'm going the way my gut tells me.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Oh no, it may change.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley.
Yes,
We've come together here because we care
there.
about you very much.
You,
It's
I killed,
this bucket
shot
you're
you in the
carrying
head,
around everywhere.
and I
The
followed
bucket
you.
isn't even from the original Stanley parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic
I don't
characters
care
from the
about you
first
guys.
game, like
I
the
don't care
Adventure
about
Line
you
and the
guys.
Broom
I don't
Closet.
care about you
Because
guys.
that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Not that. No.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages.
What?
If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Bucket.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley
By the way, I
just
was not going to
smiled.
do that again.
Anywhere they went
I was not
together
taking that line
would be
anywhere.
perfectly fine with
Brother,
him.
if you don't
Stanley
understand,
clutched
that
the bucket
line makes
tightly
you
to his chest. This was not the
go
correct way to the meeting.
forever.
But Stanley had
It's
felt the
annoying.
bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind.
The bucket was
bucket
wrong.
was wrong.
Yes,
Stanley
he
took
was.
the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
I have a question. Can I survive the fall?
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, a good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
I'm speedrunning this, baby.
Stanley had felt the bucket
Speedrunning
to
it.
him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was
Printer!
wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Now.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Well, like, what if I was
Good,
to choose?
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point.
I don't know what a
if
bucket
that's
is.
true,
Yeah,
well,
I
my
think
goodness,
this is a bucket.
I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have
You're sitting
dire
on my mic.
consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly.
Sitting on my mic.
So much of the
It's
impact
like
of the
a
story
rainbow
is dependent
worm.
on your understanding of what
I need to
is
get my mic. I need to
and
get
isn't a
my,
bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay. It's got plenty of video, isn't it? Is this a
Now
bucket?
then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing
Okay,
you
guys.
is a bucket.
Okay.
Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to
I'm
know
gonna try doing
about
this
what
twice. I'm
is
gonna do
or
all
is
green
not
once,
a bucket.
and all
Okay,
green
let's
and-
begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket,
It's
not
still
an
a bucket.
actual bucket.
It's still a bucket. It's
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket? What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
It's gonna be like a cow or something. I'm calling it.
Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct.
Wait,
This
what?
is a bucket.
Huh? Okay, now I'm losing it.
Item 6.
How many
Is this a
items?
bucket?
Yes.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Huh? It isn't. What do you mean?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
It's gonna throw me onto the conveyor belt. I'm calling it.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is?
I do.
Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Yes.
I can't have that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
No.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
I have a bucket.
My God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what. I'll reset everything, and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
I need my mic. Bucket?
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. The embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
I'm going right past this.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room?
No.
Yes, Stanley thought. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Wait. No, I'm pretty sure that's just color. I'll check it out.
No,
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Okay, here we go. Okay,
Stanley
here
knew
we
the
go.
office layout
Drive
like the
safe.
back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
I have to go.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Yep. Door on my left.
No,
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
What could possibly... Wait, can I break that off?
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Destroying.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had... Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow.
Yes, I know I am. Shut up.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the... And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
That'd be funny if it let you. Oh shit, that does it. No, it does not. So I only have two left. So I have the private nearby a fireplace. Some were both red and blue. Where's somewhere red and blue? And near a fireplace.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
There's somewhere red and blue. Red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. I can't go into that one yet. Did my click break? I can't click anymore. Okay. It's working again.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines.
Doesn't it go to like 12 and then 30 and then 100? No. I don't want to go. I don't want to actually go.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Wait, I have an idea. What the?
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
What the frick? No, I'm going to take the bucket with me for this one. Just won't do it for the next one.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace. Protective, yet delicate. Assertive, yet compassionate.
Wait, will it let me through a door? That usually can go through.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door.
I want to see what happens. Where's the last place we have? Okay, near somewhere both red and blue. So that was the nearby fireplace.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Both red and blue. If you go down and come back up, you'll be blue. That's one open. That one. It is.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
You go down and go back up.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing. Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over. Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent.
Okay.
This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Nope, I'm not going back in the elevator. I'm having a blast. Ha 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 ha. So happy.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
What? What? What did he just say? No, I won't go back.
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just... All of his co-workers were gone.
I got it.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Ah, Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker he would ever truly need. Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I'm clicking the mouse way more than it's actually doing. Wait, is there anything in here that shows you where it is?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Stanley. Is it blue? No. Alright. Stanley. Stanley. I need a clean one. It used to be right. I'm gonna look something up. Be right back. Stay still, worm. Mwah. Oh, wait, yeah. We're all the same. We're all the same. Now I know I'm locked in, baby. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. Guys, you won't
All of
believe
his
me?
co-workers were gone.
You won't believe
What
me.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
What? Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Yep. Bang with bucket. Let me crack a finger.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
What the Wait.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers.
Whoa.
I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
No.
Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone?
No.
I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Wait, what is this place? And Stanley found the collectibles.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Wait, am I supposed to pick it up?
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember? Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the warehouse. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything. Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No.
This was the 5th mini-Stan, and this one was really something special. It was behind the boss's office. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
No! Actually, yeah, hey, I'm spit. By narrator, by Stanley, by narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Whoa, where am I going? Oh, yeah, this one. This is my final one.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other, except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Still go through the blue door.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Huh?
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on.
No.
Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels. Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
We never went.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Thought it was gonna let me fall off. I'm ending it after I do all this because I'm tired.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too.
This was actually my
first. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
The first one I found.
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this? Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office?
No, nothing.
There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
I don't know, do what I think it's gonna do.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely?
Yes, you are.
That's it.
And
Perhaps
you're going to be, because I'm leaving you.
Companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh,
yeah, you don't leave me.
It was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No, surely not.
Hey Stanley, it's me. Just calling to let you know that you left your bucket at home. Silly. It's okay. I'm off to pick up groceries soon, so I could swing by your work and drop the bucket off. This isn't your bucket. Wait, whose bucket is this? Well, if it doesn't belong to anyone else, I guess I could just, keep it. Yeah, I'd really like to hang out with this bucket for a while. Oh, sorry, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, have a nice day at work. I'll be here at home with my bucket. Bye, Stanley.
Wow, really wants to make out with that bucket, but, good for you. Well, okay, guys, if you enjoyed that, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll probably stream in a bit, not sure. See you guys next time.